Republicans in both the House and Senate have, for the most part, been kind of tripping over themselves, trying to see who can suck up to Donald Trump the most. 3 days after Donald Trump was sworn in as president, we had Tennessee Republican Representative Andy Ogles put forward legislation to change the Constitution to allow Trump to get a third term in office. So Ogles was, of course, in the lead. We have seen other people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is now in charge of our nation's health, and we're screwed because of that. But he had suggested, as other Republicans have, putting Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. So I got to tell you, it's a, close neck and neck race. How is anybody in Congress going to compete with that? Well, don't fear, folks. Republican Representative Claudia Tenney of New York has now put forward legislation that will outdo another term. It will outdo putting his stupid face on Mount Rushmore. Because Claudia Tenney's legislation would make Donald Trump's birthday a national holiday. June 14th, of course, is Donald Trump's birthday, which also happens to be Flag Day. And I'll get more to that in a minute because there's some weird stuff happening with Flag Day, with Trump claiming that he created it, which he clearly didn't. But anyway, here is what Claudia Tenney said in her release of this legislation. No modern president has been more pivotal for our country than Donald J. Trump. Okay, I'm not even going to read past the first sentence because this is already the dumbest thing I think I've ever had to read to you folks. Nobody's been more pivotal than Donald Trump, right? Nobody, we can't think of no FDR, no JFK, Lincoln, Washington, one of the Adamses, Obama, first African-American president. Nope, none of those folks can hold a candle to what Donald Trump has done, which Tenney then goes on to list as tax cuts. You think I'm kidding? That is literally the only thing she mentioned in talking about how great he is, how historic he is. She's like, he cut taxes for the wealthy, right? I mean, that's deserving of a national holiday. Listen, if we're going to declare a national holiday for every single Republican that cuts taxes for the wealthy, then we're never going to have to work a day in our lives ever again. Because all Republicans have done that since Ronald Reagan. House, Senate, presidents, doesn't matter. So if you're going to say that by virtue of cutting taxes for the wealthy while screwing over the middle class, if that's worthy of a holiday, then every single Republican that has served in office since the year 1980 is going to get a national holiday. We're going to have to triple, double, quadruple some of them up, right? But that's what she said. Like, that's his accomplishment. He cut taxes. What drives me insane about all of these Republicans, whether it's put his face on Rushmore, give him 4 more years, give his birthday a national holiday, none of them have provided any real accomplishments of what this man has done. He served in office for 4 years. He's been back in office for 4 weeks. What has he done? What has he accomplished? No Republican has ever been able to genuinely answer that question. They give you hyperbole, right? Like, well, he's been great. He's uniting the country. Immigration is a thing he does, kind of, maybe. There's pieces of the wall. There's a Space Force. Cool. None of those warrant a national holiday. He's been in office for 4 weeks as part of his second term now. We have seen consumer prices skyrocket during that time. You want to give him a holiday for that? Because that doesn't seem like the kind of thing we should be celebrating. It seems like the sort of thing we should be mourning. But that's what it is. These Republicans are just trying to suck up to Donald Trump as best they know how, and there's no rhyme or reason behind any of it, right? And I don't think they understand that they look very stupid when they do stuff like this. You hear Republicans use the phrase Trump derangement syndrome to try to attack anybody on the left. No. This right here, Claudia Tenney, this is Trump derangement syndrome. This should be on your application for a one-way ticket to the nut house. That's what this is. And speaking of folks belonging in the nut house, as I mentioned, I get back to Flag Day here. As Breitbart reported, because this is an exclusive Breitbart story, in June of 2017, Trump proclaimed June 14th, 2017 as Flag Day. And sure enough, they posted his proclamation at the time. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim June 14th, 2017 as Flag Day. See, there's just one problem with Donald Trump's proclamation from 2017. And that is the fact that Flag Day was actually created 101 years earlier by President Woodrow Wilson. Flag Day has been Flag Day since June 14th, 1916. And they're like, Breitbart's literally giving Trump credit for creating Flag Day on his birthday. No, Flag Day existed before Donald Trump was even born. Like, that's what's crazy about this. He didn't create Flag Day. He did a proclamation claiming he was creating Flag Day. It had existed for 101 years, over a friggin' century. So even Donald Trump is suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, apparently. And all of these sufferers are enough to drive the rest of us crazy. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.